results in Kansas and Missouri. This is Election Day coverage from KMBC 9 News.
Good evening, everyone. Commitment 2020 coverage as the general results continue to come in. Good evening, I'm Laura Moritz.
And I'm Chris Ketz. We have team coverage tonight, all the local big races, including that big race for the Kansas Senate, the Kansas 3rd Congressional District, and the Missouri governor's race.
Our political reporter Michael Mahoney is also here tonight. Results so far: Kansas 3rd District, incumbent Democrat Sharice Davids fighting for her second term against Republican Amanda Atkins, a former Cerner vice president. And right now we have 80% of the precincts that are reporting, and it was looking like a second term will be for Sharice Davids. All
right, the Kansas U.S. Senate race. Earlier tonight, it was close, but not. It's still close with about 68% of the statewide vote. But the trend right now is Roger Marshall, the Western Kansas congressman, has pulled ahead of Johnson County State Senator Barbara Bollier. Bollier's strength right now in Johnson County. She won Johnson County by 25,000 votes, but will it be enough to overtake Roger Marshall's strength, especially out in Western Kansas tonight?
And we do want to concentrate on that. All right, let's take a look at the governor's results right now in Missouri. Mike Parson, who is the incumbent with 52% of the vote, and Nicole Galloway, the state auditor, with 46%. Keep in mind, only 26% of the precincts are reporting thus far.
And another big race that we have been watching, especially in Missouri, is Amendment 3, which of course would repeal the constitutional amendment known as Clean Missouri, which was passed by voters in Missouri a couple of years ago.
And let's take a very quick look at the presidential race right now, and 270 electoral votes to win. And right now, Joe Biden has 131, Donald Trump has 98. It is very, very early in this vote count.
And a lot of the key battleground states have yet to be decided tonight. KMBC Tonight's Michael Mahoney has been following all of this tonight. Mike, where do you want to start?
We'll start with the Kansas 3 for a second, and we're not doing it officially, but it's all but certain now, as Laura indicated, that Sharice Davids has won a second term. She won Johnson County, and that is where the battleground is on this race. Heavily Democratic Wyandotte County is yet to report any substantial numbers, and there's a sliver of Miami County in that district again, and she was running against Amanda Atkins, who was a former GOP party chair. Atkins won a tough multi-candidate primary this August. She was running basically in defense of the president in a district that Joe Biden basically is winning tonight. It'll be the only district in Kansas that the Democrat for president will win. And she was running on thriving businesses and thriving families and a payroll tax holiday. And the Atkins campaign also had to sustain some harsh attacks from the Davids campaign about her association with the former governor Sam Brownback, who, when he left office and took a job in the State Department, was one of the most unpopular governors in the nation because of his tax cut experiment that caused some deep cuts in budgets throughout the state of Kansas. Amanda Atkins, long road to hoe tonight and probably will not make it. Sharice Davids goes back to Congress for her second term.
Let's get to the U.S. Senate race in Kansas now.
All right, to KMBC Tonight's Emily Holwick right now in Topeka with the Roger Marshall campaign. I imagine, Emily, they're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely, Chris and Laura. The mood has decidedly taken a turn here as Roger Marshall pulled ahead by about 3 points right now, because earlier, as you mentioned, we saw Bollier taking that lead, especially with all those votes coming in from Johnson County. But we are still expecting more votes from the western part of the state, which is known to be Roger Marshall's stronghold. So we'll have to see if his lead expands. Again, still waiting for more results to come in. I want to show you some video from earlier in the night when Dr. Roger Marshall and his wife came down to greet supporters here at the Cyrus Hotel in Topeka to thank them for coming. He met with students and people who have come from across the state to support him tonight. Now, this is the Kansas GOP Watch Party, and it is a sold-out event with 200 people buying tickets. Pretty busy here. As Marshall addressed the crowd earlier, he noted that his campaign has traveled around the state multiple times, meeting with voters and working hard to earn their vote.
We've made 2 laps around the entire state in the last several weeks, been in over 90 communities, touched thousands of people, and everywhere we go, we've been received with a great warm welcome.
Of course, Marshall is hoping to keep a Republican in this Senate seat for Kansas, as it has been for the last 80 years. Again, still waiting for those results to come in. We'll be here all night bringing you live updates. Reporting live in Topeka, Emily Hallwick, KMBC 9 News.
And this is just in. The AP projects President Trump has won Kansas. Let's go back to the Barbara Bollier campaign in Overland Park tonight.
Our Haley Harrison is with the Bollier campaign in Overland Park. Haley?
Here at the Overland Park Convention Center, we have not yet seen Barbara Bollier here today, but I did speak with her earlier today at her home in Mission Hills, Kansas. You know, this is a race that is competitive for Democrats for the first time in a very long time. Bollier voted early back on October 23rd. And she tells me today that she is glad that Democrats in the state have been able to make their voices heard.
The hope that I feel is that people care enough about one another, and the fact that they're voting in such record numbers, that they really want their voice to be heard. And I think we'll know how Kansans feel about the U.S. Senate seat, about on up and down the ballot, about what kind of people they want representing them. And I believe they want people who are willing to work together.
Bollier is a former Republican. She switched parties a couple years ago. Today, she tells me that she feels supported by her party nationally. And of course, that speaks to the tens of millions of dollars, nearly $50 million combined in outside support for both Roger Marshall and Barbara Bollier in this campaign. Reporting live from the Overland Park Convention Center, Haley Harrison, KMBC 9 News.
All right, Haley, let's check in with our Michael Mahoney on an analysis of this Kansas Senate race. Michael?
Well, it's basically as we described it all night long, that the Bollier campaign would start out with a big lead, and then the Marshall campaign would try to march its way across the state of Kansas, picking up the smaller counties, and that is what has happened. A lot of those counties in central and western Kansas have already now reported in that race. A couple other things I want to bring up to folks on local races here. Mike Thompson, the state senator from Johnson County, won his first race to stay in the Senate. He was appointed to it. And Ron Reichman, the Speaker of the House for Kansas, had a scare in his race, but he won it by 4 or 5 points tonight. Exceptionally close for the party leader in the state of Kansas. And we are going to continue to watch what everybody expects on both the Bollier and the Marshall campaign, that Bollier is going to be staked out to a lead, and then it's going to be Marshall marching across the state trying to pick up these smaller counties and win the Senate seat and keep it in Republican hands.
All right, Michael, thank you. Let us check in now on the Missouri governor's race. At last check, Governor Parson has been in the lead throughout most of the evening, and as you can see, with about a quarter of the vote in statewide. You see the numbers right there. We have yet to hear from the biggest prizes of the night in this particular race. Votes coming in from Kansas City, Missouri, and from St. Louis.
Our Kelly Ackerman is live in Springfield with the Parson campaign.
Right, and right now we are actually in the background hearing some testimonials from some of the Parson supporters. This watch party, the tables here filled up very fast, but the crowd has not really grown in size because they have limited the attendance here because of COVID-19 protocols. Of course, the crowd here is anxious for a victory party tonight, and while COVID-19 has been a big issue throughout this campaign, I recently talked to campaign leaders here who say they still believe that what's going to make the difference in this race is the economy. This is what they had to say.
As we close out this race, you know, the number one issue that's on voters' minds is the economy. Who is better equipped to ensure our economy is going to rebuild and rebound fast? And the governor has a track record of, before the virus hit, having created 40,000 new jobs, leading our state to a record low unemployment.
To the person he is, day in, day
And again,
out.
the governor was leading in the polls going into tonight, but it has been a much more competitive race than what political analysts first thought. We'll continue to watch those results come in and bring you live reports from here in Springfield. Back to you.
All right, let's check in with the Nicole Galloway campaign right now.
And that is located in Columbia, and that's where we find KMBC 9's Bianca Beltran.
And I'm told that Nicole Galloway is watching the results come in with her family. And if she's anything like us, checking the results, refreshing again and again, it's really a lot of anticipation. You know, I checked on our map on our website here, and you can see that there are some blue areas on that map where the results are being reflected. Blue in Kansas City and St. Louis, as well as Greene County and Boone County. But again, as you mentioned, 26% of the precincts reporting at this point, and mentioned, the campaign staff mentioned that they felt that it was a positive sign to see turnout today, but we will see how it turns out once we get more of the results in. Chris, Laura?
And if you are just joining us, President Trump has won the state of Kansas. The state of Kansas has 6 electoral votes. Kansas has not voted for a Democratic presidential candidate since 1964, and they have held true to that tonight. Let's take a look at the Missouri presidential race results right now. And, well, here, if we take a look at the U.S. Senate, 100 seats are up for grabs. The Republican 38, Democrat 38. In play are 24 other seats.
And we've just seen that a couple of big races that people have been watching across the country have just been decided. Lindsey Graham wins another term in the state of South Carolina, beating back Jamie Harrison. 4th straight term. In fact, South Carolina was a heated race, and there was a ton of money coming in from all parts of the country on that race as well. The state of Colorado, John Hickenlooper, the former governor, beating Cory Gardner tonight as well. And you see with Democrats, these are the results that are in right now. Democrats have the lead. They're expected to pick up seats when it's all said and done tonight. And more results coming in. Now in the Kansas 2nd District, which of course centered in Topeka, the state treasurer Jake LaTurner, the Topeka mayor Michelle De La Isla right now with about a quarter of the vote right in so far. You see Jake LaTurner now with about a 2-point lead over De La Isla. It is early. This is seen largely as a Republican district, and as we see those numbers come in from Topeka, which is De La Isla's basically her center of strength, and those outside the rural parts of this district, I should say, LaTurner has been seen as the front runner in this race. We'll see how it goes tonight.
Let's go over to Missouri now. In the Missouri House District 4 race, incumbent Republican Vicky Hartzler running for a 6th term against Democrat attorney Lindsey Simmons, who is brand new to the political arena. And right now, with almost half of the votes counted, Vicky Hartzler, the incumbent, has 67% of those votes.
In the 6th District in Missouri, Sam Graves is running for another term. Of course, the Missouri 6th District covers all of North Missouri, from north of the river all the way up to the Iowa border, and from Kansas all the way over to Illinois. Going up against Gina Ross of Platte County tonight. Sam Graves a big lead tonight, and he is expected to win easily. Stay with us for more up-to-date election results.
You can find them on the bottom of your screen, the KMBC 9 News app, and at KMBC.com.
More Commitment 2020 coverage at KMBC.com. KMBC 9 News, leading the way.